This is totally random.
You know it. Hello, I'm Franz, this is Andy.
Hello.
This is Totally Random, your periodic show about Concrete5. This is November 1st, 2013. Yesterday was Halloween and we're all candied up.
We are. There's
Woo!
a high level of energy.
Oh yeah, we got sugar and gurgly bellies and fun times. Let's see, do we have any news? I don't have my printout. I think the big news is 5.7.
We were so prepared the last time we did this, and it was a sea change of excitement and preparedness that
threw that out.
That went a little too well.
I saw Matt had it up for a second. There was some news, wasn't there?
What's Reddit up to today?
There we go. Oh yeah, we got the subreddit going. Yes. So yes. We from our community is taking charge of building out a spot in Reddit that people can ask less technical questions and more just kind of like how's about it? Ooh, picture in picture. How's about it questions. So there is a Concrete5 Reddit now with some community members that are looking at. What are you looking at, dude?
This is the deal of days getting posted automatically.
Oh wow!
The subreddit.
Oh wow!
Very cool.
And that's thanks to bbang89.
Nice.
Thank you. And I think there's some questions in one of those threads too. I remember seeing earlier.
Oh,
pre-show thread. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ask us
Boom.
anything.
I think there's some questions right there.
I have questions.
I think we can answer these right now. In fact, we'll just do a little mix-up on the how we do it, since it's going to be mostly.
What did we read on Reddit?
What did we read on Reddit? We're going to get Robert on that. Making a content block share amongst different sites with user permissions and some type of mashup, social sharing pages, content, Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, ideas. Yeah, there's no way to do that easily today. Certainly someone could build that. There's something in 5.7 that we will be showing you later today called the gathering block that starts to point at ways that could happen. That's pretty compelling. So although that is a sentence full of broad strokes, I get the picture you're painting, and we're building stuff towards that end. What else is there? Something about
they want
employee page and background info on Concrete5. Like our story, happily that exists.
Yeah.
If you go into our about section and dig around, you'll find a history page. You'll find some philosophy that is filled with ripe gems from when we had more time to write about the way the world should be. And you might find a little bit about Andy and me. I don't think you'll find like a list of our super heroic team quite yet, but that is a good idea.
Yeah,
our philosophy,
it's a good idea.
It's in there.
It's hard to find. And then last on that list, they'd like to know some thoughts in the marketplace for highlighting some of the dependencies that add-ons have. So not stuff that you necessarily have to install to make the add-on work, but stuff the add-on comes with that might impact your site later. So their example is ProBlog has third-party JavaScript to make it work. What does that mean for... I mean, that might be fine for ProBlog, but does that work with everything else you've got on your site? And we try and make sure that those things work in a vacuum, but it's a good idea.
Nice. There you go. So thanks for starting that Reddit action. That's great. And we will check in with this every time we do Totally Random. We'll get Robert to make some funny intro about reading stuff on Reddit, and it'll be great times.
It's going to probably have an alien in it.
I'm sure.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say
Should. Do we want to do some karma stuff?
And now, for the weekly winners, come on down.
So, if you didn't know, we've gamified the exciting experience of working on an open source project, and you get karma points for doing things on concrete5.org. You can help people in the forums, you can submit code and do coding work, and you can promote the project. And these are kind of silos that different activities happen within, and any of those activities will get you points. Those points add up, and at the end of the week, we automatically give away some karma prizes to our winners. Who are our winners this week, Matt?
We have Remo winning a copy of the Best Sweet Core add-on.
Great job, Remo.
We have Host Code getting a copy of OEmbed.
Sweet.
Promoted Concrete5, and Blue Fractals got a copy of the Tokens add-on.
Tokens.
Awesome.
Good work.
Well, thank you, three of you and everybody else who did so much but did not win this week. We appreciate it nonetheless. It's awesome. We're getting stuff from other developers in there. If you are an add-on or theme developer and you would like other developers to get a taste of the awesomeness that you have in our marketplace, you should PM Julia and give away some licenses to your stuff for the Karma Machine. And that's a great way to get new eyes on your work.
Yeah.
What else should we do? We got pictures this week?
Looks like we got some
I
pictures.
think we'll do some
Look at
pictures
stickers.
here. Install for just one moment while I set these up.
Yeah. So we'll do stickers here, and then we're going to check in with Greg. And then exciting stuff about 5.7 this week. Yeah. Pretty exciting.
All right, here comes stickers.
Super. I'm
Okay,
stoked.
Sweet.
Right.
There they are.
Aha! What do we got?
First one, we got some stickers coming out of the envelope from Boris.
Unveiling, yeah.
The unboxing of stickers.
This is a cool one from Ale. Got
On the side of a very romantic pool table.
this is the office pool table.
Nice.
Just how they decide who has to do work.
In space.
Nice. Hammer time.
It's like some kind of eraser, I think.
All right. Oh, I see. It's kind of cut out concrete5 one. It's so bright. It's hard for me to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some laptop stickers.
Excellent.
Classic.
Yeah. People at the coffee shop will really wonder what a concrete5 is.
Yeah.
On the cabana.
Yeah, we got some vacation photos from JP Griffin.
Oh, wow.
Nice. I'm sure the club appreciated that.
That's amazing.
The suntan lotion and the book as well.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah. We got some
Yeah.
more vacationing.
No, you don't like pina colada.
I'm not that fond of
You're not fond of pina colada.
I'm not that fond of pina
What
colada.
about taking walks on the sand? You know?
That's now you're speaking the language.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Yeah, Web Designer Magazine. We got in there at one point.
We did.
Oh, nice.
And now we're on top of it.
Now we're stuck to the front of it. That issue, at least.
And one more laptop from this quality.
Excellent. Cool. Well, if you like stickers, we like you, and we'd love to send you some. Just go to our Marketplace swag page, and at the very, very bottom, you will see a little form field. In that form field, you can put a mailing address. When we say mailing address, we mean physical postage mailing address. We don't mean email. We don't mean your Twitter account or your phone number or your concrete5 user account. We're not. That doesn't help me. I don't know who you're logged in as when you fill this out. So you need to put your name on here as well. If we just mail stickers to an address with no name on it, they come back. If we make up your name at an address, it comes back. Every time it comes back, a fairy dies. That's what happens. So please don't make me mail the stickers and have them come back, because I have 2 little girls and they don't want me killing fairies at work.
Just
It's
left and right.
Just left and right. We'll send you stickers. You'll get them. You'll put them on things. You'll send pictures of your stickers back in. Matt will put them up there, and it's fun for everyone. And stickers are involved. So there's how that works.
Excellent.
Thank you. I think it's time for the PRB.
Introducing Great Choice by Greg Joyce.
Back in the saddle, Greg Joyce has returned from his
Rejuvenated.
from his abstentia. Is that a word? Absentia. Something like that. He was gone.
Can't.
We had to draft Cooper in here, who did a pretty good job, by the way. You know, look out, coming up behind you. But he doesn't have the wonderful rhyme and time and nature of Greg Joyce and Great Choice.
That's right. So
Just doesn't have the experience of, oh, wow.
looks like Greg's making a pretty good choice.
I think you're making quite a comeback here, my friend. This is looking pretty solid. What do you got?
Oh yeah, this is my choice is to get out there and appreciate your region wherever you are in the world. This is not all that far from where we're sitting right now. And
See ya.
yeah, this is Cape
Yeah.
Disappointment up in Washington.
Oh, wow.
They have pretty high standards. That's Cape Disappointment. Man.
Well, it's the disappointing thing is it's also known as the graveyard of the Pacific. It's fun for, us landlubbers.
You
but,
got it.
yeah.
Got it.
There you go. All right, well, that looks beautiful. Great choice, Greg. Have you made any other great choices as of late?
Yes, we have numerous, well, not numerous, a nice round of themes and add-ons this, I guess, this installment.
Okay.
So, yeah, we have Form Plus, first up from Blue Fractal, and this is essentially kind of a extension of the existing form block, but it includes a MailChimp sign up included in it, as well as an option of you get like a downloadable file as a treat if you fill out the form.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
And next up we have PageList Pro from HostCo, which is basically kind of a template system, or not template system, but a means of getting the page list to a templated state without actually having to mess with templates. So you get some kind of various bootstrappy stuff with some social buttons baked in and things of that nature without having to hire a developer.
Okay.
Cool.
Next up, we have Enlil's Transparent Yogurt theme, which is, I believe, from the name, kind of more or less one of the yogurt themes redone to have a transparent background. And I believe you can kind of push this one in a number of directions.
Right.
Because there is also, aside from the UFO,
You don't have to go deep space with it.
no.
You could go beautiful
You
Cape
could
Disappointment
go-
if you
could
wanted.
go dog training with it too.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the other example screenshot.
Oh, nice.
Next up, we have the Clean Blue theme from Global Nerds, and this is another, it's kind of a basic theme, but I don't know, it does the
You
job.
just need something basic, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something clean.
nothing wrong with that.
Leave it blue.
Next up, we have two add-ons from John the Fish. The first being Magic Job, which allows you to use the magic syntax to get data from your website using a job into
They
it'll
took
put it
our
into
jobs.
a CSV report for you, and you can get your data out of your website.
Okay.
And then the next one from John the Fish is called Sorcerer's Map, and again you can use the magic syntax to retrieve retrieve data from your site and populate a Google map.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
A new spell in the suite of magic tools.
Yep. And next up we have Base CRM from V. Larson. And this one is a contact form that will populate the Base CRM customer relationship management system with a entry for the person that filled in the form.
Sweet.
And next up we have File Hasher from Mankrus, and this one runs a job and assigns various file hashes to files in your file manager. So if you want, you can have your downloaders verify that they're downloaded perfectly.
Sweet.
Nice.
CRC, yo.
And that's it. I don't have on my list here tokens from Sharok. I don't know if Evan talked about that one last week or if I just missed it in my copy and
I
paste.
don't
remember.
blog.
remember.
Okay, well it's not really much of a screenshotty add-on, but what it does is allows you to assign kind of little mail mergey data replacements in the dashboard that will show up in your site. So if you don't need something as in-depth perhaps as the magic system for your site, but you would like some little tokenizable nuggets of content, you can get this one, and it's pretty easy to understand, pretty simple to use, but if the address of your business or something is likely to change,
Sure,
you can
centralize
use it here.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
Nifty.
Super.
Yeah. And that's it for this installment. There's a lot of stuff in the PRB that we are working through still, but we gotta hear back from a couple people and stuff.
Great. Well, great choices, Greg Joyce. Thank you.
Excellent work.
Great to have you back in the saddle.
Yeah, nice to be back, guys.
Sorry to take you away from Desperation.
No, that was
Desperation Drive.
Desperation Harbor.
Disappointment point.
Disappointment
I was
Bay.
in Massachusetts when I wasn't here.
Oh, yeah. Man, I wish I was on the coast. All right. What do we do now? Let's do a quick showcase. I got an idea for that. And we'll jump into the goodness.
Boom.
And now for the showcase session.
Oh, we're back. Why don't you click on that, yo? So today's showcase is our own showcase. So we have buried under here this kind of community-driven showcase that you guys have known and loved for a long time. Is a very similar feel to our marketplace pages. And anyone with a Concrete5 site can submit it to the showcase, which is pretty cool. And it also, if you are using a project page to submit to the showcase, we'll keep track of what add-ons you have used on your site. So it's a valuable tool to be able to see where an add-on is used. That's great. The downer is, as you might imagine, the folks with the time and interest in submitting to our free community-driven showcase tend to not be the larger corporate, beautiful, hey, am I going to be safe using Concrete5 type clients. They tend to be folks that are still riding the opportunity of success. And sometimes the sites aren't the absolute top 10% of what has been built with Concrete5. Not surprisingly, a little bit surprised, I think, but like the showcase section is, I think, about the 6th most popular page on our site.
If it were me, I'd probably go there to see.
I guess it makes sense. If it's not your baby, you've got like 15 seconds to try to get rid of it. Like, why do I have to learn about some new CMS? And you go to the showcase to see what people built with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you see spam or just junk, that's not good.
That's not great.
So we rebuilt the entry to the showcase to now feature some of the larger Concrete5 installations, more attractive ones than the kind of, you know, big brands, big stuff. Cambridge.org, built Concrete5, Street of Software, mini.co.uk. Good stuff that people can say, wow, these all look very different. Clearly I can build whatever I want with Concrete5. Clearly I am not at the bleeding edge of something. I am in good company when airlines and governments and you know, folks that manage the printing press, I don't know, 1592 or whatever, you know, that's good stuff. So this has been well received, and if you've ever in the past been trying to get clients to get excited about Concrete5 as opposed to some of the more well-known alternatives that they maybe heard about in traditional media, this page is probably a valuable tool for you. So
yeah, absolutely.
Boom, check it out. Yeah, I forgot about that. So there's that. Showcase of showcase. We still have the community one buried underneath. At the bottom you can see there's community stuff, and so you still have that awesome SEO juice available. And if someone really wants to dig down to, well, how many sites are out there, you can still get through all this and turn that featured flag off and you'll get more. And yes,
tag search.
That is good as well. But there's something to be said for curation.
Cool.
Cool. Now I believe we're ready for exciting times. I think before we run that, because we're going to have to switch to little musical chairs here, we have a work in progress for 5.7 that we are.
Yeah, we should talk about our plans.
Just about ready to share. First, we'll talk about our plans, and then we'll show you what we got. So it's no secret that we've been working on a 5.7, the next major version release, for quite a while. A year or more in planning. It was long, even for us. And our process is highly iterative and creative here, and we tend to throw a lot of ideas out. It is an interview question I always ask: how do you like having your work thrown out? Because it is challenging, even for folks who love me and are on payroll. Because it's not infrequent that we do something with the best of intentions, look at it and go, no, that wasn't really what we meant, or that's going to be a pain to deal with. And we kind of figure it out as we go. So we have been doing that for quite a while. We, I guess to set context, we knew we wanted to do a major interface update. We liked a lot of the stuff that we did in 5.5, which was the last time we really readdressed the interface, but that's a couple years ago now. And we like a lot of it. We didn't like all of it. Nothing's ever perfect.
It's been a fairly major mobile revolution.
A lot of mobile stuff has happened.
Yeah.
And we've also seen a lot of these kind of commercial hosted web builders take off. The Squarespaces and Wix and Weebly's and Yolas, that whole, whatever you want to call it, solution. When we first started was kind of an afterthought and like, well, you know, this is just cute stuff. You wouldn't really use it for much of a site.
Baby's first website.
This is for baby's first website.
That's not condescending at all.
Wrong. Sorry. Those guys are really doing very well, and they're making very serious play. If you're a small business and you're looking about, gee, I need to get some type of web presence, and you kind of are faced with, do I want to spend $100 and just build it myself with one of these web builders? Generally around $10 or less a month with a decent theme, or do I want to hire a developer and design something from scratch and roll my dice with a creative relationship, which is probably going to cost me as easily 10 times as much. Those are difficult questions. I don't know. We would like concrete5 to be able to compete in that space better. We find that it is used as a web builder purely by accident today. Yeah. We always imagine that there would be some agency building you something that then you would go run with. And you've heard me talk a lot about the relationship between a site builder and a site owner and how a CMS needs to serve that relationship. And I think concrete5 does that very well. But for 5.7, we decided, hey, what if we were actually just to try to make this a step closer to web builders? What if we actually tried to make it easy for anyone with any technical expertise to use? So we knew we wanted to do that. We also knew that we were willing to rebuild concrete5.org. It's a few versions behind, and it's on its second major design iteration. Yeah. But there again, time passes and you've got new ideas. And we also knew we wanted something new and exciting and some new killer feature, because the promise of in-context editing, which we've been doing with Concrete CMS since 2003, is starting to become rather ubiquitous, at least across the web builder market. And I don't really think there's many open source projects that deal with it as well as we do. Certainly there's some extensions for well-known stuff that kind of try to add it on. I think we can say with some, with reasonable assurity that in the open source world we're doing pretty well, leading the pack in terms of in-context editing. But not so sure that's going to be on its own something that's going to too much more wind in our sails. So what is the next big killer feature? So those are some of the questions that were going around in our mind, and we kind of took a year to say, well, look, sky's the limit. What do you want to do? We did show a work in progress over the summer, I think. Sometimes we kind of packed up some stuff just to show off where we were at, and that was exciting. But when we released it with just look, here's a snapshot and it's throwaway. We're not going to really bother managing this. It's just something to go play with. What is different today is we actually have reached a point where we are confident we are not going to be throwing things out.
Correct.
We know what it is that we want to be doing. I'm sure there's a lot of questions around details and stuff that we're going to figure out with you.
Not ready, but it is not changing.
But yeah, we're stable enough that we feel comfortable sharing with where we're at and sharing the workload. And if people want to help, we would really appreciate it and love to have the help. So Andy is finishing up merging a bunch of stuff today. It's a nightmare, but he's making it through. And then we're going to post this bad boy to Git publicly. We're going to make a bunch of issues in Git. We're going to start using Git issues. In the past, we have, I think we actually did.
We did it for 5.5.
But we haven't for 5.6. But we are going to make a bunch of issues, even for our own internal work stuff that we are working on. That I know, we might just use our internal time tracker normally. We promise we will stick that stuff in Git issues, even if I'm paying someone to work on it. Hey, maybe you're faster and better than the people I'm paying. Great.
We want to know about that.
Please prove that to be true. And we've got a little forum area we're going to launch on concrete5.org for debate and discussion around the things that are still a little bit up in the air. And we
have a whole 5.7 area.
I got a bunch of pages where we're talking about it. We've made a couple of videos. We're about to shoot Andy over here to do a demo. We're going to make some more videos out of that, and good times. So let's start. How would we do it?
How would we do that? Good sir.
all right.
Okay.
Looks like concrete5 site.
Yeah, so I think the last work in progress we did had like little drop-down menus coming from here.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Like, and dialogue.
Yeah, it's all going.
Stuff like that. So this is a bit different. So as you can see, man, yeah, there's a lot to go through. The bar is mostly is pretty similar to 5.6, but when you actually interact with it, you notice that
Panels sliding out.
quite a bit of difference in terms of the UI.
Now we saw this across basically everything in the web builder market. Everybody has these side panels that come in and go out, as opposed to the number of overlays that we use in 5.6 today.
Yeah, in general, you're going to be seeing a lot fewer overlays. For example, there will be content in your site, like you know, when you edit content blocks here, that's going to actually happen in the page, which is nice. That's been in 5.7 for a little while, but there's some nice toolbar treatments and things that are new.
Mm-hmm.
Layouts will happen in the page as well. So this type of thing.
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
Pretty cool stuff. You can honor your existing grid system if you've got one
That's
in your
right.
theme.
Moving stuff around happens without a menu. You just drag the blocks around in the page. And yeah, these panels kind of take the place of a lot of dialog boxes. So if I just proceed, I'll proceed from the left, I guess. So this is the edit menu. We're still dialing in some of the styling of edit. We know that people want. We're a little concerned with the first work in progress that we did that we weren't showing the areas all the time, and we're still trying to figure out ways to make those show up and be a little bit more obvious without being quite as overbearing as they are in 5.6 and earlier. So we're still working on this. But in general, it should be, you should see a lot less heavy styling even when you're...
Yeah, we're also still tweaking the JavaScript under here. I know Corwin's working on that.
Yes.
So drag and drop works now, but it's a little touchy, and it will be less so with the library that we're incorporating now. I think the mantra for the areas is like we want them to be, we want it to just work. You shouldn't have to understand how your page is built out of block areas for just to put some content on there. You should be able to get at that information when you need to, but when you look at how the competition is doing it, it's really more drag and drop it, and then it'll show you where it's going to go, as opposed to picking someplace first and then
So what Franz is referring to is adding a block works from this add block panel over here, and currently you can't add a block to an area by clicking on it anymore. We might bring that back. I pulled that out while I was making the panel stuff work. And what Franz is referring to is if I'm adding a content block, I just drag it down to where I want it to go. It's a little, you can, one thing that's nice is you can add it between blocks now. It doesn't automatically just go at the bottom of an area.
Yeah, very handy.
But it is a little bit, like, you do have to kind of get the mouse cursor right over the part that you want it to actually attach to. So we are in the process of making that quite a bit more forgiving, a little bit more friendlier. But in general, this is how you're going to be doing this. All the blocks show up in this left panel. We are also going to add in clipboard stacks, gathering tiles, which we'll go over in a minute. That will all come up here, and most of that stuff isn't working yet, so that will be
the block's
an opportunity.
Yeah, and the plus, meaning add, which is pretty universal, I think, makes sense. Anything you want to add to the page, you do from the plus. Anything page-related, you do from the left side.
That's right.
Yeah. General
and you can always tell you're in edit mode because you've got the green. Green going on. If you actually are not in edit mode and you click the plus, it will reload the page in edit mode and launch that panel. In general, a lot of the interactions should be quite a bit faster and at least a little bit less jarring, since the panels give you a bit more context than the large dialogue or the crazy dialogue boxes do. So proceeding from left to right, we have the page settings panel. I'm on the home page, and I've got, most of this stuff should be pretty familiar. In general, we have a lot fewer drop downs, mostly because those kind of, they've always been blinky, but they're hard to deal with in mobile contexts. These are a lot friendlier. And even for power users like myself, I instantly like these. So it's proceeding from down to up. If you click delete page, you can see that's pretty much the same thing you always had. Versions panel actually slides in from left to right. All the stuff that you can do with versions before you can do here. We've got a little menu here, and you can actually duplicate versions right from in the page, and approve versions, and remove versions, and all sorts of stuff.
You also just saw for the first time the new alert styling on the side there. We use that for help and
Yes.
alerts, that little box that comes in.
Yeah, that replaces the sort of white pill
Yeah.
that I think
Yeah.
that everyone is familiar with. You can actually create a new page from an old version of the page, and that will stick that in your drafts, and you can work on that page and publish it later, which is you know, this was a feature suggested by someone who has less sort of day-to-day concrete5 experience than we do, and it was so counterintuitive. But once you actually start thinking about it, it's a pretty cool way to
Yeah,
approach.
it's a great idea. Unless you do forking of
Yeah.
versions, you can go delete the original page and bring this new thing back. It's a very elegant idea to a problem that we had struggled with in the past.
Yeah, and of course you can delete old versions, and they just kind of flip out there. All the same stuff that you could always do. You can preview versions, and they just show up on the right hand side. If you click multiple versions, tabs will stack up across the top, kind of the way they do today. If I leave the versions panel, the permissions, this stuff should mostly be fairly similar. You know, these are your standard concrete5 things, but the kind of new interface gives them a lot more room to.
Yeah, so I wanted to read nicer, larger titles that don't feel so intimidating, and that little blue box on the side to give you some help.
Yeah, so this is what Franz is referring to. These are replacing a lot of the, well, I mean, a lot of these we didn't even have them, or they were buried in the question mark, and this is a lot friendlier.
Yeah.
I love the new attribute stuff mostly because it's just a lot less overwhelming than having them in the dialog box. These are the attributes that are required for a page, and then as you add more of them down here, oh, this page is broken because tags is broken, they will add toward the bottom of the page. And
You can also see that we've kind of broken some of this stuff that was in very functional
Yes.
categories into things that are a little bit more practical, like SEO.
yes.
Is really just a bunch of custom attributes that you could get at from the attributes page. But if I'm just building myself a site, I am told I need to do SEO, so, you know, where's the SEO link?
Yeah.
You know, the developers and all of us are kind of like, well, there's a lot of attributes, but why not just, you know, take the extra step to pull a copy of each one of those SEO related attributes out and put them on an SEO page.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing we've been doing across the board, and you'll see any number of things like that as we wander through.
Yeah. In general, if I actually leave the home page and go to an about page, it might be kind of handy. In general, we have been trying to put the sort of friendlier settings toward the top and the more advanced settings on the bottom. It's all still driven by permissions. It's all the same under the hood in that way. But yeah, what Franz is saying is SEO is actually the URL fragment of the page, and then anything in the SEO attribute set. But you don't have to understand that to know that stuff in here is SEO related, and then location is where the page lives in the site, and getting the URL and adding URL redirects. And this is stuff that, you know, editors and less savvy people might still want to know about. And Composer is a way to edit the page in a sort of form-based manner, and which will be familiar to you if you use Composer in the past, but we changed it fairly fundamentally. We'll go over that in a second. Design is all new and pretty exciting. You'll notice we have page template, and that should be fairly familiar. If you click on this, you can actually preview what the page would look like in that template right there. We've got themes down here as well, and you can of course preview what they would look like in those themes. And then you'll notice this little blue customize is, you know, pretty new. It's using the same theme customization stuff that's kind of buried in the dashboard right now.
Super buried.
But and I know that people use it quite a bit, but it's Yeah, it is varied. And
Yeah,
so,
again, this came out of looking at a lot of the competition in the web builder market. This stuff is front and center. You go to a page and you go, oh, I want to make that blue and this green, and you know, we've been able to do that since, God, like 5.3,
Yeah,
I think we
something
did a long time ago. But it's so buried in the dashboard, and having to explain to people how page types work and whatnot just doesn't make sense. So now, any page that you're at, you stick it in design, you can start tweaking this stuff, and
it's beautiful.
you'll see here when you hit save, you have a choice of just this page or the whole site.
Yeah, so you can do this to the entire site, which is the behavior from before, and that's now controlled by a task permission. Or you can just do it to this page, and that is pretty neat.
And again, something that you can turn off on a theme basis. So if you're a
it's version.
yeah, if you're an
just
agency
like
going, I don't really care about web builders, fear not. You don't have to turn that on in your theme. This is just a kind of an entry solution for folks that aren't ready for your services yet.
And we'll get to Composer momentarily as we continue down the right. This is same as intelligent search. We like it so much we haven't changed it. As we click here, you'll notice this is a completely new front-end concept. So we've seen most of this stuff before in different form factors and different sort of approaches, but this is a completely new menu, and we're calling it the page menu or the sitemap menu. This allows you to quickly and easily navigate your site. You click on any of these guys and it just takes you there currently. We might add a menu to this as well. Haven't decided. And you'll notice we have page types up here. So we have a basic page and a blog entry page type. And if I click on this guy, it takes me to that page, and I am in Composer view for this page. This should look sort of familiar if you've played with Composer, although it is fairly fundamentally changed for 5.7. Some of these tweaks are in the work in progress from a few months ago, but they're fairly different. So, you'll notice we have page templates down here, and you'll notice I said page types before. These are page templates. This is probably the best time to explain the difference between these things. In Concrete 5.7, page types and their templates are separated. Page types are the more object-based sort of concepts for a page, so blog entry, photo gallery, profile page, something along those lines. And then a page template is the actual HTML that lives inside the theme that it uses. So I'm adding a basic page. I have a bunch of different page templates which come from my theme that I can make that page on. So I'll choose a left sidebar, and I've got my content, which is also using the new redactor editor. And if I attempt to publish this page, you must choose a page to publish. So I can do that here. And then if I save and preview, it will take me into edit mode. We got a lot of feedback that our new Composer-based ad page experience was impossible to let you in context edit a page, which was obviously not good. So save and preview will let you continue to edit the page. And then when you publish it, you will either have to choose a target or it will publish it once you're ready. Discard draft. These are all drafts. And if I hit publish, it will take me to my new page.
So that really does bear just a second of... In-context editing is always something that Concrete5 has done well. Composer is something that we introduced a couple versions ago just as a way to kind of bang out a page that had a lot of typed content. We would find ourselves on projects when people were like, oh, you know, we're selling boats and we got 1,000 boats we want to put in here and they all need like these 6 blocks. We'd make these custom forms to build pages, which is really kind of how every other traditional CMS does it. There's some back-end form that makes the front-end page, and so that's what people are used to. So Composer is a way to do that. Now 5.7, any page can be edited with Composer or in context edit. You can switch back and forth between them. However you made it in the first place, you know, there we have an existing page, I can put it in Composer, you can change those basics right there. And so you really have the best of both worlds. When you make a new page, we dump you into Composer, but you can say, like, you know what, I don't want to use Composer, I just want to save preview and start throwing stuff in block areas willy-nilly. Just two different modes of thinking, and now they're both available to you on any page.
Yeah, as I'll dive in a little bit to Composer and the page types versus templates right now.
Oh boy.
And this will also serve as a good introduction to the new dashboard panel. So if you click over here, you'll see we have dashboard. We still have the favorites, so that's where these live, and this will remember the last thing you selected. But in general, we took a lot of feedback to heart from our foray into the dashboard, and this guy looks a little bit different. So if I go into Pages and Themes, you'll see we have the dashboard. Most of these pages will look either unstyled or just not great, and they are not final. In general, the sort of outer shell of the dashboard is final, and including this nav and this top header and this blue guy. But a lot of stuff in here is we have some designs for, and certain tasks that we're going to post into the Git issue tracker will actually have screenshots attached for things like the file manager and the sitemap. But a lot of this stuff we are going to create a style guide for and ask you guys and our core team to just kind of make it look good, just the way that we did in 5.5, and that worked really well. So you see, if I go into page types here, I've got blog entry and page, but it looks quite a bit different than it used to, and we have a lot more options. So if I come into basic details for a page, you can see this is what my page is named, the handle. I really need to be able to scroll further. That's funny. You can see the default page template for a page of this type. So whenever you create the page, the default page template is the one that the first page the page gets. And that's nice because it means we don't have to bug you for the template when you select the page and you add it. And so that's the default template, but you can also say which templates does this page type support. So you could create, for example, a blog entry page type that has a blog entry as the default page template and only allows you to use blog entry. And then you've got publish method, always publish below a certain page, and that, if you can see that at the bottom, would be publishing it beneath the blog. So you can see right here, page types are more like what composer types were in the previous work in progress. They are separated from the old page type concept, which is really just form factors. So if we go into page templates, you can see we have blog entry page template, but we also have full left sidebar and right sidebar. And if you add a template, we're going to be sprucing these icons up. You can add as many templates as you want and choose thumbnails for them, but they are form factors. And page types. Each page type has a compose form. So if you edit this form, you can see these are the fields that make up the composer panel detail. So we've got blocks. You can add blocks, attributes, all sorts of different stuff. You can move them around. You can even specify which basic properties of the page are editable through the compose form. All these page types have separate permissions, so you can really lock your site down and give you can add there's a lot of granular control that you add over this stuff. And then you also have the ability to control outputs. So at this point, you've got a page type, and then you can control how that page type publishes its content onto these different templates. So one problem that we've had in the past is when you start with a page and you add a page that's like the full template, and you get that looking good, and then you decide, you know what, I really want this to have a left sidebar, and you switch to left sidebar, you don't have the left nav that the left sidebar usually comes with. And no longer is that a problem, because when you switch to a left sidebar template, we know we have defaults for all of those scenarios, so we can actually bring in the blocks intelligently based on the templates in that page.
I think an awesome example is our own calendar add-on, which was architected a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
But using page types for an object model, which calendar does, requires a calendar page type, which, okay, but I already have a page type. I just want to put a calendar event on. Why do I have to use this page type? Yeah. So by separating these, you now have complete freedom for your site to be built one way and mature in another, and form factor is form factor, and object model is object model. It's great.
That's right. And so I think that's pretty good for page types versus templates at this
Sweet.
point. Okay, what am I missing? We have a new. I don't have the image editor working on this build, unfortunately, because it was in a different build.
I think you just go to Corbin staging site if you want.
Okay, sure.
Do you remember the URL for that?
I don't.
I can dig it up.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about something else in the meantime. We have a new conversation block in the core. This is should be familiar to anyone who has used, sort of modern web conversation comment systems like Discuss or iFire or stuff like that. We have built our own. This is replacing the guestbook block and is better in many ways. It's got in-page Ajax posting. It's got the ability to share to all these different services, threaded comments. There is a dashboard page to manage all of this stuff and mark stuff as spam. Different editor support. The ability to attach files just by dragging and dropping them. The styling on this is off, but
yeah,
better.
It's also completely re-architected from the bottom up versus
Yes.
our own discussions forum. So now you are adding conversations to a flat conversations table that's nice and fast instead of making a page for every post and some other kind of cute architectural decisions we had made early on for flexibility that we never really needed. Now it's actually designed to do what it does in the real world. So
Yeah. So if you were to build a forum system using this, what we would probably do is we would create a block that I think we might actually have in the core, although I don't know what state it's in, called discussion, and then enable that block to post topics from the actual discussion block. And topics are just page types that actually work through a Composer overlay. You don't even know you're using Composer. And you're making pages, and then each page has one of these discussion blocks on it. So the current concrete5.org setup, each post is actually a page in the site, and that gets the difference between a site that has 5,000 topics and 500,000 replies. You're going to have quite a bit of speed difference because you no longer have 500,000 5,000 pages. You have 5,000 pages and a lot of comments, and that works really well, and we're happy with that decision.
So conversations have actually been built for quite a while, just sitting in limbo. There's a pretty clear list of stuff that still needs to be done against them, but they're actually, I think this not only is the skeleton done on that, but there's a fair amount of flesh on the bones.
Yeah.
So I would expect to see a lot of Git issues going up around that in the not too distant future. Get that dialed in, and that'll be nice. It's all part of the free core. So yay for community. Gathering?
Yeah, let me, okay, I'm going to switch this over to a different feed than the gathering.
Okay.
It works in both, but Greek yogurt is a little long in the tooth than the gathering. So if I switch this out to a blank.
So the gathering block, we talked about a little bit in the past, but actually we started this totally random with a comment on Reddit about bringing content in from different things. I guess the context is you've got so many different ways to publish these days between your Instagram feed and your micro blogging services and your Facebook pictures and stuff. Why are you putting all this content on these third-party sites that are owned by a small handful of folks? Can't you bring your content into a single destination in an easy way? Well, the answer now is yes, you can, using the gathering block. So you point this bad boy at different types of feeds, and we need help building these feeds. Right now we just have Flickr and RSS. What Andy's doing is saying, go to Flickr, find any picture that's tagged with concrete5, and bring it back. And this thing will auto-magically go make what we are calling tiles out of the content that it finds. So these are all Flickr images, and it's finding the tiles and building a grid, and you saw your page by thing where how many tiles you want to get back. People are looking at like 20. Then you can curate this guy.
Yeah. So if you put this block, this is just a block. If you put this block in edit mode, you'll notice this is also using the sort of inline edit as well. But unlike the content block, this actually sort of has different modes. So if I scroll down this page, this sticks to the top. And once I put this page in edit mode, I get these little icons over each tile. And if I wanted to make this larger, I could just drag it. And I like this picture as well. That's pretty swell. This guy is pretty excellent.
So what we're doing is we're actually remembering your override preferences kind of as they make sense in the feed. So this thing is going to go get new content on its own. That little refresh button up top will force it to. But it's always going to try to list things in chronological order. It's just remembering that we want that Patrick Cassidy picture to be big, and if you mess with the, you can move things around too. Everything is kind of squishy and relative. So this is not a design tool. We're not suggesting that, oh, as a designer you should use this to do an absolute, you know, a design that'll never change. We expect this to kind of organically grow. But it does a pretty good job of knowing that, like, well, that tall image should be next to that wide one because Andy went and put them there, and I'm going to try to fill in spaces around it. Each one of these tiles also has its own template. It's just randomly choosing one that fits the content, but if Andy goes in there, you know. So you can make different templates for tiles, and these templates are looking for something that we call the featured. Is it an attribute, or is it just a
feature?
Just a feature.
Just a feature.
Feature exists against any page, or you know, these faux tiles as well.
Yeah.
And it summarizes the type of stuff that's going to be on that page. So if you add an image gallery to a page, well, let's do a different example. I mean, we have found these things grow organically. So I make a page that I call a blog post about I want to have this awesome party. And people are like, yeah, we should have a party. And I'm like, great. Well, start as a blog post, and so it's just kind of a title with a short description. But now we're talking about adding a party, so I'm going to stick an event on there. You know, in the past, that would have had to change page type, and what does that do to form factor, and is that even going to show up in this list? Now, I just add a event block, which there'll be a get issue to make, and now the featured data will know that, oh, actually, there's time here as well. So the tile template could look like a little calendar guide. We have the party, we upload a bunch of pictures, well now there's an image gallery on that page, and so it started as a blog entry, became an event, and is now an image gallery. The tile template could have some cool, you know, slidery image gallery.
For example, these are tile templates. You may have seen in the menu detail template. Detail templates work similarly because all of these tiles, if I click on this guy, they all have what we call detail states. I guess they don't want to have that, but this one does. The thumbnails do, and that's because we know that these contain images. So we know we can choose a detail template that supports images. So if I come to this guy, edit detail template, you can see that the one that is chosen is image sharing. Changed it to something else, it would change.
It's working perfectly.
Apparently I don't have a title. It will change it in the page. Oh, I guess that's a detail.
So a detail template is what launches when you click on a tile. So if I'm interacting with this grid in a demo that behaves,
I've lost the ability.
I love it. So yes, a casual visitor to the site that is not editing the guy, you can click on a tile and you get an overlay that does something. And what exactly that does, I think, is still a little bit up in the air right now. It just loads an image. I mean, it's a template, so you can make it do different stuff. Right now, we just kind of load an image in a light box. We got a lot of comps implying that you could post messages about it and it would automatically make a page and cool stuff, and I think we're very interested in figuring out how that would work. It's just not entirely clear to us at the moment.
Yeah, practical.
You could turn on the post stuff though, if that's working. Kind of that gets into the last. Yeah, it may not work. It does give you a dark window into how our process goes here. There is an idea around. You should be able to use the gathering as a collaboration tool. So, I mean, you can easily look at that, what we just showed, and said, oh, this would be a great way to like set up a magazine. You know, I could point this to all my favorite skiing sites and get back content auto-magically, and I've made a Huffington Post of ski sites. Good for me. I could just go to the form for it. Yeah, the idea here is that you could actually turn on the ability for people to post new content. We had this working at one point where at the top you get an add button, and if I have the appropriate access, it's actually it actually would let me make a post under a page that would also be aggregated in that gathering block. So now I might use the gathering block as a let's figure out what kind of playground we want at our kids' school. So I'm going to point it to Pinterest, searching for playgrounds, and I'm also going to point it to an internal page where we're having discussions around it. Someone who posts one of these images that they like, it's going to make a page. Someone could create a new page, blending the ideas of community and kind of this grid-based photo sharing experience. So very cool. Still a little bit of big picture. Just kind of bringing these ideas together and fully into focus. I feel like we're getting much more into focus with it, but there's still just a little last push that is going to need to happen from us before this makes perfect sense, and I believe does become our next big killer feature that we have that others don't. Point this thing to your WordPress blog, have it ingest everything automatically, and make posts for the ones that you want. That kind of deal. Just parsing stuff out of the chat room as we go here, Andy, trying to keep ourselves on target.
Yeah.
Single sign-on.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We've built a new way of dealing with single sign-on that we actually did a long time ago, completely mothballed. But somewhere in dashboard there is a new single sign-on approach, pretty much from the bottom up. Authentication types, yeah. I know we made it work with a couple of popular ones, and we have some more to do. And I think the only thing that was left undone here was the interface for what it looks like when you're actually signing up. It felt a little weird at the time, and we said, look, the bones are here. Give us a minute to think about how this will work from a presentation standpoint. We never did that. So
yeah, in general, concrete5 is one of several authentication layers that will be built into the core. At their core, these authentication types will probably work how they've worked for, when people have made standalone authentication, alternate authentication for concrete5. They will end up making users that have some special attributes assigned to them that keeps track of your Facebook ID and stuff like that. But at the login page, at the register page, there will be it will be aware of these types, and you won't have to mess with code yourself or install third-party add-ons to get this in there. That said, these are packageable, so people who make third-party add-ons will have a much easier time making those for concrete5 if they want to impact the authentication, because they won't have to make custom blocks that go to custom single pages like login_Facebook or things like that. It will all just work from the login page, and your site will be aware of all the different ones that you can turn on, and it will be much happier if you want to add Facebook or Twitter authentication to your site, something like that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
New image editor is new and exciting. I already made a video about it for a little microsite, and given our time, I think we'll just point to that. It's built from scratch, JavaScript-y, it's pretty cool, it's got filters so you can make the pictures look old. What else?
Yeah.
I feel like there was something else big that I'm just spacing. Probably. But, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think I have it in this build yet, but we have groups. And
oh, that was the two ones. Yes, so we have, guess what? So we've introduced a new thing called topics, and topics are a tree of tags. So think, animal taxonomy, or, fruit, and inside of fruit you have apples, inside of apples you have green and red. Now I can tag something green and know that it is a green apple that is a fruit, and I can query at any level, hey, is this thing fruit? Well, yeah, it was tagged as green apple, so it is. So that's pretty cool. Built into the core, and you can actually have multiple trees for different purposes. And a similar idea with groups. Very powerful permission system in concrete5, but there was never any hierarchy anywhere in it. So now groups do have hierarchy. And so you can start to do things like say, look, there's, one great example will be like there are local distributors as a group, and inside of local distributors you could make individual groups for every state or whatever, and put people in there. and then know when you add Oregon that you are actually adding someone to the distributor Oregon group, not just random Oregon. So that's and you can also query, like, is he a distributor? Yes, he's in the Oregon group. So
yeah, there's not the permission system was flexible enough that it's not really enabling tons of new permissions functionality so much that you couldn't get before, but it will make for much cleaner sites.
Cleaner. Yeah. Things where you'd have to make
and
lots of stuff in the
there are
past.
some organizational benefits that would have been kind of cumbersome to get without some custom code.
I think that's definitely one that as the ecosystem gets it and chews on it in ways that we're not predicting, we're going to see a lot of stuff that's it's probably really hard to debug, but really powerful and impressive nonetheless.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, a dozen other things that we're spacing right now.
Yeah, they're under the hood, and we can. I'll write more about this later, but under the hood there are some pretty fundamental shifts as well that I'm sure you'll notice as you start playing around with the code.
Sweet. Can you switch back to us? I think we're final words. Yeah, so that's 5.7. As I mentioned, Andy is actually we're about to go get some lunch, celebrate this and some other stuff, but then Andy's going to pack this all back up. Stick it in Git. Oh, there you are. And we'll make some issues. We'll be adding issues as we are working on them. In terms of process around Git, we are going to be reviewing that stuff every morning. Mike Lay, who we love very much, is moving on to exciting new adventures. So Greg is going to step in and start prioritizing Git pull requests that are against 5.7 and 5.6.
Yeah.
Anything that is being worked on, if it has the same type of philosophy that we've used in our bug tracking and the PRB. If someone is working on something on their own, that's great. As soon as they can get someone else to chime in with, yes, this works for me and is valuable, that buys more priority in our eyes. We've solved this challenge in the past this way. It makes a lot of sense. We used to have a bug tracker where just everything came in and it was a huge pile of stuff and very overwhelming to look at, and half of it was feature requests. And as soon as we added the, hey, please +1 this if you can recreate this bug, it became much easier for us to apply what time we had to the ones that were really important. So we're going to be looking at the same type of thinking in Git. How can we be, obviously if we make a Git issue and someone submits a pull request for something new in 5.7, that is something we're going to be jumping out of bed to review.
Oh yeah.
But if you're working on stuff for 5.6, that needs to continue to happen. I do not have a timeline for 5.7 because we are now basically getting it to a spot where we're going to be sharing the effort. So the more help we get, the faster it goes, I think is the truth of it. But both of those things need to keep going. So look for Greg to be posting issues and chiming in on the stuff that you're submitting back of, hey, is this ready for review or not? And we'll be reviewing it and keeping this truck moving. Yeah. Cool. Well, one last thing, completely unrelated to anything, but because we love him and he went ahead and actually asked his question earlier in the week, John the Fish would like to know how to check if an arbitrary group or user has a permission. So he says, it's easy enough to test if the current user has a permission to do something, such as view a specific page, but how do I inquire if an arbitrary user or group has a permission to do something? More specifically, given a group ID, how do I tell if any user in the group can view a specific page? Given a specific user ID, how do I tell if that user can view a specific page? Is there an API call to do the above, irrespective of standard or advanced permissions? Well, I'm not sure about the last sentence. That makes me very confused.
No, I think that I get that.
You get it?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Do you have an answer?
Yes, I do. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I can tell you where to look. If you look in the generate sitemap job, that job actually checks to see if a guest user has access to view the page. So what it does is it simulates that. It doesn't matter if you're logged in and running the job. It doesn't use the current user object. So what it does is it simulates the guest access entity, which is what we call it. And you can do the same thing for other stuff. So you can create a group or user or get that user object, and then you can turn that into an access entity and use that the code that's in that job to check to see if that user has access to view a certain page, for example. So I would definitely check out the generate sitemap job, and I think it will point you in the right direction.
There you go. Weird answer, but it sounds like a kick in the right direction nonetheless. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that was something very exciting. We got to get to it, and it's been totally random.